Welcome to the Snapshot build along. To get started, we'll start with the wheels, tires, and drive motors. First thing you need to do is grab a wheel and one of the square nuts and press the square nut into the wheel. If it doesn't go in easy like that one, you'll see like this next one, it may require some force. So you can either push it on the table, use your hand, push it on the other wheel, works really good. Or just right now push it on the actual table, which is what I did here. And everything's in there nice and flush. Then grab one of the set screws, put it on the end of your hex key, insert it into the wheel, and get it started threading into the square nut. Don't go all the way through because you need to make sure the drive shaft can go in there. Just get it started a few threads so it's ready to go. Once you have the left wheel done, you can move on to the right wheel and get that one all set and ready. Now we can move on to mounting the tires. So you push the tire on from the bottom, and it's going to feel like you've almost pushed the tire all the way off the front, and it'll click in like you see there. Then just kind of work the tire on, make sure it's in a place that looks correct, and then move on and do the same to the next wheel. Once those are mounted, you can mount them onto the drive motors onto the flat part, which is the D shaft. The flat part is where the set screw fastens onto the shaft to hold the wheel on. So work your hex key back into the wheel and set it in the set screw. And then mount the wheel on the motor so the end of the wheel is flush with the end of the shaft. That will leave a small gap between the wheel and the motor. Go ahead and tighten that down. And that small gap in alignment makes it so when you drop it in the chassis, it's centered nicely where the tires go. Now that that is all finished, we can move on to mounting the standoffs and the charge jack into the chassis. We will start with the 4 standoffs. Go ahead and drop one standoff into a slot, hold it in place with your finger, flip over the chassis, and then use one of the 632 screws to tighten it down. Do the same for the next 3, and we'll be able to move on to the charge jack. When you go to put in the charge jack, you'll need to pull out the plug and pull off the jack nut. That's the little ring thing that's kind of bouncing around the table here. That's actually what fastens the charge jack into the chassis. So go ahead and insert the charge jack in the hole at the rear of the chassis and tighten it down with the jack nut. Get it nice and hand tight, and once it's hand tight, grab a set of pliers and make it a little more snug. Don't tighten it like crazy, just make it nice and snug so it doesn't vibrate off. If you over tighten, you can damage the threads. Next step is to build the weapon assembly. You see here you have the uprights, the screws, the bearing, the drum, and the motor, as well as the weapon ESC, which we'll use in a little bit. For the first part of the step, you will need the weapon motor, the right hand upright, and the 4 M3 8mm screws. You want to run the wires of the motor through the hole in the upright, and then align the motor where it goes into the upright. And when you flip it over, you can grab one of the screws and align it with the motor and get that screw started. Don't tighten it down all the way. Just get it a little bit snug so you can still shift the motor a little bit to align up the second screw. Once the second screw is lined up and in, you can tighten those 2 and then put in the other 2 screws. Once you have those tightened, you can grab the left hand upright and the bearing and press that bearing into the slot. Now to mount the drum to the weapon, you'll see there are 3 screw holes in the weapon motor, and there are 6 holes in the weapon drum. Now, the reason for that is the drum can click on any way you like. So the 6 holes are there so you don't have to worry about aligning it. You just pop it on and then figure out which holes the screws go into. You can actually look and tell or just try it till one goes in. But once you have the screws in, they go in a triangle pattern, all 3 of them. You will tighten them down until the head of the screw is pretty well flush with the weapon drum. That'll ensure you have a nice, good grip inside the motor and also ensure the screws don't interfere with anything while the weapon is spinning. Once you have those in and everything is tightened, you can take the left hand upright and then attach that onto the shaft with the bearing. It should look pretty much like what you see there. From here, we can go ahead and grab the chassis and the number 4 3/8 Phillips head screws. We will use these to attach the weapon assembly into the chassis. When you go to put it in, the wires from the weapon motor will go through the slot you see just there to the right as it mounts, and they'll kind of live by that little cubby hole there. Make sure you align the weapon uprights properly. They will kind of snap in when you have them in place. And then once they've snapped in, give the weapon a test spin, make sure it's spinning freely. And then once you're satisfied, you can flip it over and hold them in with your one hand, and then use the Phillips head screwdriver to screw them into the uprights. These are self-threading screws, so that will take a little effort to thread them in, but rest assured it will make it hold nice and tight there. From here, we'll grab the weapon ESC and plug it into the connectors on the motor. It doesn't matter which plug goes in where for this step. If you get done with the robot and it's not spinning the proper direction, all you have to do is swap 2 connectors. Doesn't even matter which 2, just swap 2 of them and the direction will change. Now we'll move on to the drive motor install. These drive pods make it so you don't have to solder to build the robot, but they're also very durable. So you may want to pause the video for a second to look at this screen. This shows you the wiring for the motors and also how to insert the wires through the drive pods to make sure they go through nice and smooth. This is also in the printed directions. But you want to make sure you slide in the wires correctly through the slots in the back, and everything will go through very, very nice. So for the left-hand motor, you will use the tan and purple wires. The tan goes to positive, the purple goes to negative. It makes no difference which side you slide to the drive pod. The motor can slide through either way. Just get them slid through and ready, and they'll kind of hang out the front once you're done. Don't be aggressive with it and bend the wires or bend the connectors, because that will not work. Just put them through nice and carefully. So once you pop them through, the picture in the top right indicates where the positive tab is on the motor. So use the tan wire and press that onto that tab. You'll kind of feel like a little click sound or like a snapping into place when they get all the way on. And then slide them very carefully back in the drive pod, and then put the cap on using the slot in the cap to direct the wires towards the bottom. This ensures those connectors are not going to pull off of the motors. We've used these for months at a time, hitting them in the roof millions of times. Nothing's ever come off. So this is a great solution to not having to solder, but maintaining durability. So do the same for the right-hand motor. Right-hand motor is blue positive, green negative. Then you can mount the drive pods in the chassis. When you put it in, just use one hand, hold it in place like you see there. Flip over the chassis and use the M2 8mm self-tapping screws to attach the drive pods. Just like the weapon mounts, these are self-threading, so it may take a little bit of force to get them going, and then they will dig their own hole and be nice and tight for you. So go ahead and pop in the other 3 of those, and we'll move on to doing some wiring now. I'm getting pretty close to ready to drive the robot already. So you'll grab your 2 lever clamps, your XT30 pigtail, the other end of your charge jack, and the receiver, assuming you got the radio with the robot. So the first thing you want to do is open the tabs on a lever clamp, grab the red wire from the charge jack and put it in the first slot on the lever clamp and clamp it down. Now what these lever clamps are doing is to prevent you from having to solder. You can put the wires in them and then they'll connect all those same wires together. So the blacks go in one and the reds go in the other, and all that's really doing is connecting the power wires where they need to go instead of soldering. I like to put the charge jack in the first slot, drive ESC in the second, and weapon in the third. It makes no difference from a functional standpoint. I just find it easy to do it consistently, so if I'm making a repair, I know exactly which one to pull out before I even look at it. Once you have those all hooked together, we can move on to the receiver. The picture that's about to pop up in the top left shows you where all the wires go. The single yellow wire from the drive ESC goes into channel 1 on the pin closest to the receiver. Then the 3-pin connector from the drive ESC goes into channel 2 with the white wire on the inside. And the weapon ESC goes into channel 3 also with the white wire on the inside. Then you can pop it in the chassis. The antenna will route out the slot in the little hole it sits in, and just route that antenna wherever you like. Just make sure it's out of the way. It's kind of long. Once the antenna is routed, go ahead and put the charge jack plug in the bottom. This is going to ensure the robot is off, so when you plug in the battery, it doesn't start driving or doing anything. So now we can go ahead and start packing everything in. So the weapon ESC kind of lives up in that cubby. You can kind of fold the wires up and it'll live nicely up in that cubby area above the receiver. And once that's set, your lever clamps and your drive ESC will slide in behind the weapon assembly. And then once those are in place, you can connect the XT30 pigtail to the corresponding connector that comes off the drive ESC. This is what provides power to the drive ESC. And once all that's done, we can move on to putting the battery in. The battery is going to go in the little slot right above the left-hand drive motor. So plug it in using the red JST connector. Make sure you match up black to black, red to red, and drop it in that slot. The wires can tuck in the cubby hole or right on top of the battery. All is fine. At this point, you have wired everything up. It should look like that. And we can put the lid and the forks on. And the forks are probably the coolest part of the whole kit. So grab the lid. The lid's reversible. Doesn't matter which side is up. And then attach it with the remaining 4 632 1/4-inch screws. Once you have those all set, you can put on the forks. The forks actually snap into place, which is super fun. So you'll flip it over, you'll press them in, you'll get a very satisfying snap when they go in. And you see they're kind of floppy. And that's on purpose, so they can move up and down with the floor as you're fighting. And since they snap in, they're very easy to replace. So if you break a fork in a fight, which is common, you don't have to change the whole chassis, just the one fork. So now that we've got it put together, let's go pop it in the test box and play with it for a little bit. So once you take your weapon safety off and close the door, you can go ahead and test it. So we'll test the drive for a little bit here, and we'll kick the weapon on. This one's only on 2S. You can upgrade it to 3S, and it will be faster, more dangerous, and louder. I don't recommend it on your first robot until you've done a tournament. This one will self-right by driving either towards the wall, or if you can finesse it just right, you can do it without touching anything and just flip it back over. Well, there you have it. You built your Snapshot Plastigant weight kit. I'd like to wish you the best of luck on your next tournament and hope you had a great time in the build process. See you soon.